Let's get to questions for the week. First one's from Angela. Hey, David, could a socially liberal Republican win the Republican presidential primary? I actually think the answer over time is going to be yes on this. And there's a couple different reasons why. Number one, when you say socially liberal, do you mean someone who is actually socially liberal or merely someone sort of willing to say that they're willing to listen to the other side? And what I mean by that is what we've seen under the Donald Trump campaign and Donald Trump presidency is that Donald Trump really is, I don't know if we want to say socially liberal, but certainly socially libertarian, right? His entire life, Trump didn't care about abortion. In fact, we may soon find out that Trump even has a personal history with the medical procedure called abortion. Don't know, but wouldn't be surprised given all the stories that have been coming out about Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not a religious man growing up, although now he claims that the Bible is his second favorite book or first favorite book, with his own book being the second favorite book, whatever. So number one, I actually think that increasingly for the Republican Party, positions on social issues don't so much matter as long as the candidate can draw a line to evangelical voters, because evangelical voters hold a very, very important position in the Republican Party. But there's another issue that I think is relevant here, which is that the country has been moving to the left. The country has been moving to the left on almost every, I can't think of any social issue on which the country has moved to the right, whether it's gay rights, support for abortion, transgender rights and stuff like bathroom bills and that sort of thing, religion in schools, which starts to become, it goes beyond just being a social issue. The country has been moving to the left. Now, the reason that you see Republican candidates and elected officials still harp on these social issues from a very ideological, often religious right-wing perspective is that a lot of the donors and the organizations that donate a lot of money still want to see that right-wing social position. And thus, even if it doesn't reflect the views of the average constituent, even in red states, you still see a lot of money being raised by taking those hardline, ideological, often religious zealotry type positions. Over time, my guess is that social issues are going to become much more sort of moderate in total in the country and moving to the left, where it won't even really be to the advantage of a candidate to talk about something like gay rights. The longer things go with abortion being legal and the realization that legal and safe access to abortion is actually something that's very good for society over the long term, I think you will see social issues sort of recede from the dialogue, even within the Republican Party, and that, yeah, a socially liberal Republican will at some point win the Republican presidential primary. The question will be, at the time that they are able to win the Republican primary, will they still be considered socially liberal, or will the entire country have moved to the left further, that they will still appear to be conservative compared to whatever the social positions are of the Democratic or other left-wing party at the time?
Yeah, I think by and large a socially liberal Republican could win their presidential primary, but you have to break it down by issue. So I think someone who's in favor of gay marriage or marijuana legalization or euthanasia could win the Republican Party.
Yep.
Because those issues seem to be fading away. They're not, in the public spotlight as much as they used to be.
Yep.
People are coming around to it. But there is one exception. I think the one issue that you'd have to be steadfast on is your opposition to abortion. Because, like you said, you have to draw that line to evangelicals, and they're not going to back someone who's pro-choice.
I think that what you're saying is true right now. I don't see, although, I even still think there could be exceptions now, because there are Republicans who take positions like, I'm against late-term abortions, and I want to put in place things like mandatory waiting periods and probably not transvaginal ultrasounds if someone is this moderate, but they are okay with abortions before X number of weeks, even on like a personal level or something like that. So I still think it's moderating, but I think you're right that right now that would be the toughest pill to swallow for right-wing voters. But 10 years from now, that could be very, very different.